What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create a ceiling light in Revit. So very a while back I have created a video on ceiling lights, but those were ceiling lights that come from the ceiling down. And now in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a ceiling embedded light. So that's basically a light that lies flush with the line of your ceiling. So the whole construction of the light, the whole housing, is inside the ceiling or above the ceiling. Now this is quite common, especially in offices where you have that kind of recessed ceiling, those panels, and then in a few places, instead of those panels, you have a ceiling light that shares the same dimensions as your regular ceiling panel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create that family, how to make it parametric, how to make it work, how to make it light up, and what are all of the little tips and tricks along the way that you should know. Now, if you want to learn more about lights in Revit, I actually have a whole course. It's like a 1-hour course on lights in Revit. And also I have an entire course on family creation in Revit. So if you want to learn about parametric families in Revit, how to model them, how to model any type of parametric family in Revit, make sure to check out that course. It's going to be the first link just below the video. So make sure to check it out. Also, please make sure to like this video. It helps me out a lot and it helps promote the video to other people. And make sure to subscribe because I make useful tutorials each week. I make multiple tutorials. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get straight into Revit. And here we are in Revit. So I'm just going to get started simply by going here to Models, then to New. And for the template file, I'm just going to go with my custom Balkan Architect template, the metric version. And if you're interested in getting any of my templates, you can find them both on my website, balkanarchitect.com. That's going to be the third link in the description just below this video. Now let's just click OK and let's let Revit start our new project. Okay, so once we're here in Revit, what I'm going to do is go here to the wall tool, and then I'm simply going to build a little room for us to test out our lights. So what you want to do is just go here to the wall tool, and then let's make a simple rectangle, and for the top constraint, let's just set it to level 2. Okay, let's make a simple room just like that. Hit the escape key a couple of times. I might center it a little bit. There we go. I think this will work for us. Okay, and now we should probably place a ceiling, this being a ceiling light tutorial. So to place a ceiling, what you want to do is go here to ceiling plans and then open up ceiling plan level 1. Zoom in a little bit, and then let's go here to the ceiling tool. Now, what you want to do here is go with automatic ceiling because this is quite a simple room, and as you can see, when you hover over that, it basically shows you that it's just going to place a ceiling inside of this room, so it's fairly simple and straightforward. You also have the ability to sketch a ceiling, so if you don't have like a closed room, or if you want to have like maybe a more complex shape of your ceiling, feel free to go with that. For this one, I'm just going to go with automatic ceiling. And for the height offset from level, so that basically means from your floor up to your ceiling, I'm just going to type in 3 meters. Click, and you're done. So here you have your ceiling. Now to select your ceiling, you just kind of come to the edge, hit the tab key a couple of times until you highlight the ceiling. Perhaps turning off thin lines would make it a little bit easier to see. And there we go, this is our ceiling. Now currently by default it's going to be set to generic, so you can change that to one of the compound ceilings. Now you have plain, which is, well, plain, it looks exactly the same as the generic one. The only difference is generic actually has thickness. You can see it from this little image here. It shows that it has thickness, and then the generic one is, well, it's almost like it doesn't exist. It's just one generic plane. Then we have the interesting ones, which are the 600 by 600 millimeter grid, and then also the 6 by 1200 millimeter grid. And this is what we're going to be using. Now, what's really good about this grid that we have is first, it allows us to, well, see the grid of the ceiling, and then also if I switch this to realistic, it's going to show me that grid even in realistic view. So once we render this, if the ceiling is in the appropriate place, it's going to look like it's fitting in the ceiling that we have, which is perfect. Okay, so let's switch this to hidden line again so we can see the grid. And if I zoom in a little bit, I can measure that just to double check, but as we already know from the type, it's 0.6 meters or 600 millimeters. And this is the information that we're going to be using to create our ceiling family. So let's now create our ceiling family. For that, we have to go here to File, to New, and then to Family. Now for the family template, this is crucial. You want to go and, okay, why do we have this? Okay, you want to go here and search for metric lighting fixture, and you want to find a ceiling based one. So this is crucial. If you don't choose the correct template, you're not going to be able to complete the family, so keep that in mind. I'm just going to select this one. Oh, sorry, this is the linear one. We don't want the linear one. We just want the regular one. So metric lighting fixture ceiling based, that's the one. Click open, and there we go. This is what we have. So this is the reference level. Now this being a ceiling fixture, it's already in the ceiling plan by default, and now we want to outline the basically the boundaries of our light. So for that, let's go here to reference plane, and then just place a couple of reference planes vertically, a couple horizontally, not like this at an angle. You don't want that. So let's delete this one. There we go. And then we want to add some dimensions in order to add parameters. So you go here to align dimension, and then I'm simply going to create one dimension like this, one like that. Make sure to equalize them, and then finally add additional dimensions here. Now also I'm going to turn these into parameters. So this one is going to be the width parameter, and then this one is going to be the length. Now if you want to learn more about these parameters and about how to create parametric families in Revit, I have an entire course on the family editor and creating families, so I'm just going to be leaving that in the description. Make sure to check it out if you're interested. Anyways, let's go now to family types here. Here we have the parameters that we have created, the length and the width, and let's set the width to 600 and the length to 600 as well, that being a 6 by 600 grid. Perfect. Okay, so once we have this, now we have kind of the framework, and we can build upon this our family. So the first thing that you need for your ceiling light is to poke a hole in the ceiling for that light to be placed. So for that, let's go here to create, go to void forms. Voids are great for, well, removing material or poking holes in this case. Let's go to void extrusion, go to a simple rectangle, go to one corner, click, other corner, click, and just lock it all the way around. Perfect. Click finish. There we go. Now I'm just going to go to the front elevation just to see what we have here. It looks like this. I'm just going to extend it a little bit so it kind of goes through the entire ceiling. And then let's go to the 3D view. So let's open up the default 3D view. This is what we have. So you simply come in here, you go to cut geometry, you click on the ceiling, you click on the void, and there you go, you have a hole. Perfect. Now let's go back here to reference level, zoom in a little bit, and now what I'm going to do is go to create, and now let's create an extrusion. So this is kind of the housing for our light. So you want to go here to extrusion, you want to use a simple rectangle, again go from corner to corner, locking it on all sides, and also you want to add an extrusion end, which is going to be at 600 millimeters for this particular family. Hit finish, there you go. If I go to the front elevation, that's the housing that's inside of the ceiling. Now you want to open that housing up because usually it's hollow inside for all the electronics and so on. So let's go back to reference level, zoom in a little bit, and for this one it might make sense to turn on the thin lines. Go to create, again go to void forms, void extrusion, void rectangle, offset of 5 millimeters, and the depth, instead of 60, let's go 55. So it stops 5 millimeters shy of that top of the housing. You go from one corner to the other. As you can see now, it appears on the outside. You don't want that. So let's go back. You go like that to the other corner, and before you click, you hit the space key once to flip it to the inside, and then you click. Now, to make sure that this 5 millimeter gap is kind of always there, or that distance or offset, you want to go here to the align dimension, go from the reference plane to the line, and then you just lock that dimension. So you just repeat that on all 4 of these lines. So this is just going to give you a constraint, making sure that, oops, I don't want that. Making sure, okay, let's just delete this thing. Making sure that it never changes, so it's always 5 millimeters for that. Perfect. Let's hit finish, go to the front elevation to see what we have, go to the 3D view to see what we have, and as you can see now, our housing is hollow, which is kind of cool. We can turn on some, do we have some shadows? Oops, no we don't. But we can turn this into shaded. There we go. So, okay, that looks horrific. That doesn't help at all. But you can see that there is an opening inside. Anyways, once we have the housing completed, let's now go and do that little overlap that we have. You know that little ring that goes all the way around, that kind of has like a little bit of distance that's covering up the hole or the opening for the light. Well, for that, let's go back to reference level, go to create, go to extrusion, and then you want to use pick lines. So on the inside, you just select and lock in place on that inside that we have created, that inside line. Perfect. Then you want to go again with pick lines, give it a 10 millimeter offset to the outside, and then you go like this, all the way around the light fixture. Now again, we have to use the dimensions to make sure that this always stays at that 10 millimeter offset. So you just repeat the entire process that we did on the inside, and on the inside we don't have to do that because we have already locked it to those existing lines that we had. Okay, so this is all locked. Perfect. Finish. Now for the extrusion end, instead of 55, you're going to go with -3, which means it goes down. So now when I go here to the front, as you can see, it goes down, which is perfect. And then finally, we might want to go to the 3D view and just join this geometry together. So you just go to join this with that. There we go. So now it's joined together. Now for all of this geometry, let's try to select it. You hover over the one extrusion, hit the tab key, and it's going to just select the whole thing. Let's assign a material to this. So let's go here to material. Let's go to aluminum. Here we go. Load that in, double click, and there we go. And finally, let's add the diffuser. So that's kind of the thing on the bottom. So for that, let's go to the reference level, zoom in a little bit, go to create, extrusion, go to rectangle, just go on the inside, simple rectangle, click, lock it on all sides. For the extrusion end, again, -3 millimeters, following that existing line that we have, and that's what this looks like. So now we have that diffuser in place. Now you want this diffuser to do a couple of things. First, you want it to be, well, a different material than this aluminum, but also you want it to light up. So you can do that by simply going here to material and then assigning a light emitting material. Now you don't really have much choice, but here in the materials under glass, we should have this glass high luminance. I can load that in, and here, as you can see, that's a material that kind of casts light. Here, as you can see, it has this self-illumination, which sounds wonderful, but that's what it does. It kind of lights up a little bit. It will not cast light on other objects, but it will appear as if it's lit up itself, as you can see from this bowl here. Okay, let's hit apply. Okay. There we go. So we have that material applied, and if I go to realistic, this is what that looks like. So it looks just like glass, but when you render it, it looks like it's lit up. Next, let's select the actual light material. If I go here to the front, as you can see, the light material is just controlled by this reference plane, light source elevation. We can bring it all the way close in. Perhaps just 10 millimeters offset will be enough. Then you want to select this, go to light source definition, and you want to make sure it's a rectangle, and also that it's a photometric web. This is just going to give you the best accuracy. Hit apply, okay. It's just going to change to something like that. It's going to look weird. Don't worry about that. Anyways, now you want to go here to the family types and you want to adjust this. So this just adjusts the way that the light is being cast. So you want to select that light source, go into, or don't select it, that's not irrelevant. But anyways, here in the family types, we have to make some adjustments. First, we have this yellow rectangle, which is basically how large the light source is. And you want that to match the dimensions of your light. So let's just go here to the length parameter, copy that and paste it here. And then the width, copy, paste it there. Perfect. So now that's just going to follow the dimensions of this light. Now you want to flex this a little bit, so let's change the length to 1200, hit apply, and as you can see the wrong parameter changes, so you want to kind of replace these. So you want the width to be here, obviously, and then the length to be here. Let's hit apply now. Now as you can see it's following, so if I go back to 600 here, it's going to follow 1200. Okay, now it follows. That's perfect. Okay, so we have that done. The next step is the weird one, and as you can see, this is kind of at an angle, and here you can see it's at 600 or at 60 degrees. You want this to be at 90 degrees. Why isn't it at 0? I don't know, but you have to have it at 90 to point down. And then finally, you want to add an photometric web file, IES file. So you do that here, you open up the library. These are all of the IES files that come with Revit. Now, you can pick out something that looks like it works. Usually you want to kind of contact the manufacturer and get the IES file. But in this case, because this is just a demonstration, let's just pick out any one of these. Okay, this doesn't look good. Let's see. There we go. Okay, when you go into hidden line, it shows. So this is like this ball shows how the light is being cast from this light, which is useful. And there we go. That's the family. Now, finally, you want to go and create some family types. So let's rename this one, and this one is going to be 60 by 60 centimeter, and that's going to be this. And then you want to have a new one, which is 60 by 120 centimeter, and that one is just going to have the length at 1200 millimeters. Hit apply. Okay, perfect. And then finally, let's save it. So I'm just going to save it on my desktop. That's not my desktop, and let's call it the ceiling light. Okay, now let's load it into project and close it. And now you can come in here to the project and you can place that in. Now it's a little bit difficult to place it at first because when you select that, you want this edge here, so the one in the middle, to go at the intersection here. So you just want to go to move and move it from there to there. But as you can see now, it fits perfectly in that grid. And also, if you switch this to realistic, it's still going to fit in. Well, it's not going to be perfect, unfortunately, but it is going to look good. So there we go. And then if you want to, let's go back here to hidden line, and if I select the ceiling, so you want to hit the tab key a few times to select the ceiling. Let's switch it to 600 by 1200. So if I select this and go to the second one, the larger one, obviously I have to move it up a little bit, so let's select it here and move it up here. Now it's the bigger light, so that's kind of cool. There we go. And finally, let's go to level 1. Let's add a floor there, just to kind of close this up. Perhaps, oops, not that. Then let's go to camera view, place a camera. Just like that. There's the light, there's the camera, we're inside, should be dark. And now if I go to render, so let's go here to view,
render. Here's the rendering window. Let's set this at medium. Let's go to printer. And then what you want to do here for the lighting, you want to go with artificial only and then interior. So interior, artificial only. We don't really have any windows here. So let's go with that. And here you can see our artificial lights. Currently we only have one. And here you can do some dimming. So if it's too bright in the end, you can set it to something like 0.1 and it's going to be less bright. But anyways, so let's just render and see what we have. And this is the result that we have. Now, obviously, it's not going to look perfect because it's just one light and the quality is poor, but you can see it does fit into the grid, which is kind of cool. It is kind of in the ceiling, and also it lights up, so it does do some things very good. So I'm quite happy with the way this turned out. You can always go here to adjust exposure, make it brighter if you want. And there you go. Make sure to place more. Usually you wouldn't have just one light. But anyways, that's how you create these ceiling lights in Revit. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Again, as I mentioned, if you want to learn more about either Revit families or any other topic in Revit, being beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you can find it all on my website, balkanarchitect.com. There I have these long courses where I take the extra time to go step by step, very slowly, explaining in depth all of these complex Revit topics and just trying to develop a complete understanding with you, my audience. So anyways, if you're interested, please check that out. It's going to be the first link in the description. Also, if you want to get my project files, that's going to be the second link in the description, so check that out as well. And I'll see you soon with another video. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.